Alright, hi everybody. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do a 2-point perspective cityscape. If you weren't here in class, this is what we did today. So if you're gone or on independent study or were absent, whatever, now you guys can have a step-by-step video to follow along. So all you need is a blank sheet of just printer paper, okay, a pencil, an eraser, and a ruler. Okay, that's what you'll be needing. So we're going to be drawing the cityscape in 2-point perspective. To start off, you need to draw a horizon line through the middle of your paper. Just a tip to always make sure you're drawing a straight line. Make sure you use your ruler, but also make sure you line it up on the side of your paper. Sometimes when you have it off the paper, your eye kind of deceives you sometimes. So using that side of the paper, we always know that's going to be straight. So make sure we're having that in the center of the paper. About an inch from each side, you're going to put a vanishing point. And an inch from the right side, you will put a vanishing point. Then you're going to draw a vertical line down the center of your paper, about 6 inches down. You don't want it to go all the way down the middle of your paper. You want to make sure there's some space at the bottom for our sidewalk and our street. Okay. So now what we're going to do, once we have our 2 vanishing points, those are super, super important, okay? Then you're going to draw almost like a diamond shape to get the tops of our buildings at the perfect angle. So you're making sure it's lined up always, my ruler's always on the vanishing point, to the tip of this line. Same on the opposite side. You're going to put the top of this vanishing point and make a line. Okay. You're going to do the same thing to the bottom part of the line. So you're going to do this line here to the bottom vanishing point, make a mark. I always like to do my lines a little bit lighter because you sometimes don't know what lines you're going to keep or what you're going to erase. Okay, so now what we're going to do on each side, I like to use the width of my ruler as my measurements, but it's totally up to you what you want to use. I'm going to line it up on that middle line, just straight up and down vertically, and I'm going to draw 3 lines. So I have 1 line, move my ruler over using the width, 2 lines, and 1 more time. 3 lines. This one's going to be a little baby line. I'm drawing it from the top of this line of our diamond and the bottom of our diamond. So there should be 1, 2, 3 lines plus that center line we started with. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Line it up nicely on that one. Make sure it's nice and straight. So have 1, 2, and 1 last line. 3 lines. Okay. Now, what I like to do, these are going to end up being our buildings. Right now, it's kind of hard to see that. So just to help our eye be a guide, I'm going to draw a light little X on this line and this line here. Okay? On both sides of this middle line. Then, I'm going to skip a line and draw an X. Skip a line. So it goes X, skip, X, skip. Try again on this side. X, skip, X, skip. Okay, so it goes every other. Are we seeing that? Then what you're going to do is going from this point here, this second line you drew. So here's the first line you drew. Here's the second line you drew. You're going to go from this top point right here. Line up your ruler to match up this vanishing point. Then you're going to make sure it's perfectly to that vanishing point or it'll get a little wonky. And you're going to make a mark. Okay, only to this second building. If you look here, if you block off everything, you already have your first building drawn. You did it. So then on this second line over here, you drew this 1 line, 2 line, 3 line. You want on the second line. You're going to line up that top point here to this vanishing point and make a mark. Okay, just to this middle building again. Now is when you're going to take your eraser, and any line that doesn't have an X on it is what you're going to erase, okay? So even this little line down here doesn't have an X on it, it's gone. Same over here. Erase. All the way over to the side, erase. Then you can also at this point erase your horizon line that's through your buildings. You might want to leave it on the outside because it looks natural, but you might want to erase it in between the buildings. So that's why I really recommend drawing light. Okay, you can go back in and fix those lines up really nicely if you erase through them. Okay, so now you have your 3D buildings over here, which is super cool. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add a sidewalk and a street. So how you add your sidewalk is line up your ruler on the edge of your diamond or edge of your buildings to your vanishing point, the left one first. And you're going to bring it down a bit and make a mark, stopping at where this point is. I'll move that up for you. Stopping right here. Same on the other side now. You can line it up to that point that was drawn, making sure it's to your vanishing point, and make a mark. You're going to do that same step one more time for our street. Okay, so I'm going to make mine go off the paper. I think that looks pretty natural when it does that. I love filling up my paper as much as possible. And make a mark on the other vanishing point. Okay, so now you have two lines. Here's where it gets a bit tricky. You need to line it back up on your original diamond, this original bottom of your buildings. I'm going to make our sidewalk cracks at this point, okay? So I'm lining it up to this vanishing point on the left side, and I'm going to make a mark right here. Now I'm going to keep my finger on this vanishing point on the ruler, and I'm going to scoot it up just a bit. Then I'm going to make a mark. Scoot it up just a bit, make a mark. Sometimes I like to do 2 little pushes. 1, 2, make a mark. 1, 2, make a mark. Always double check that it's still on the vanishing point, so I'm doing good. Hold your finger there, push it up, 1, 2, make a mark, 1, 2. Notice the closer you get to the vanishing point, the flatter or more horizontal your lines will get. It gets pretty tiny too. Okay, so now we have our sidewalk cracks. Every line is going to that vanishing point. That's how you know you've done it right. Now you're going to switch and go off the right vanishing point and make a mark, lining that ruler up on the edge of our buildings or the original diamond you made. Put your finger on that ruler, push it up 2 notches, make a mark. 1, 2, make a mark. Always double checking it's still on the vanishing point. I'm doing good, so it's fine. 1, 2, make a mark. 1, 2, make a mark. Keep going till you're all the way. The point of that vanishing point, remember, is that you can't see those details anymore, so it should be getting smaller and smaller, okay? Then you're going to go to the middle of your street, lining up. I'll line up on my left horizon line first, and I'll try to find that middle of the street as best I can. Just like the sidewalk, you want to start with them going nice and short lines and get bigger and bigger as they get closer to you, okay? Then it looks like the middle of the street. Okay, I'll do the same thing on this side using the right vanishing point now. I'll move it to that center of the street as best I can. Then I'll do short little lines up here, dashes, and get bigger and bigger as they get closer. I like to stop it here. Maybe you can even draw a little stop sign. It's totally up to you, but it just looks a little bit more natural having that line there. Okay? How you need for this assignment to have something on each side of each building. So if you look at this drawing here, this one has window, a huge window on the side of the skyscraper, and the other one has a door. These two still need something on each side. So how to make a window or a door? Let's start with a door first. A door is pretty simple. So you're going to make sure always to line it up at your vanishing point. I'll make a mark. And I don't need to make another mark because doors go to the floor, right? So I don't need to add it. I don't want it to be floating or to somebody to have to step up. Then I'm going to draw 2 vertical lines going straight down. This is the only time you will not be using the vanishing point. It's when you're going straight down. Okay, then we have our door. I chose to go to this vanishing point when making that door because the roof or the ceiling or whatever of this skyscraper is also going to that vanishing point. So if you're confused at which one to use, always check the side of the building you're on. You're on the side of the roof and go to that vanishing point. These don't look identical because remember, this is a lot closer to the horizon line than way up here, right? So it should be getting flatter, so that's perfect. Then you can use whatever door handle you'd like, okay? Whatever you want, okay? Then, if you want to do a building, what I like to do is start with my vertical, or I'm sorry, not a building, a window. I start with my vertical lines, do the same thing on this side, and I use my right horizontal, or my right vanishing point, because remember again, the roof is going that way. So I make that mark, and same down here. This line is going to that vanishing point, the right side, so I'm going to keep following that trend and do the same thing. Now it's kind of the same step as the sidewalk cracks to make those windowsill slots, or whatever you'd like to call them, okay, window panes. So you make a mark, keep your finger on that vanishing point, and move it down a bit. And you continue to do so the rest of the time, all the way down, okay? So I'll leave it here like this, but you follow those same steps. Think about it also. Don't forget when you get down lower that you're still following that vanishing point. So they should start going up on this side. Just like here. It's going up towards this vanishing point at all points. Then it starts getting pretty horizontally flat here. Then it starts going back down. Okay? If something's looking a little crazy or a little wonky, just double check with your ruler, making sure that all of these lines are going to that vanishing point. Okay?